Hello everyone, I'm Shalin C. Abraham, third year student from Government Medical College, Kozhikode, Kerala, and I am here to present a case on toxicology as part of Dr. Sherlock competition. So this is the history provided to me. A 53-year-old male presents to the emergency department. She is disoriented for past week, unable to provide any history, complaining of mild cramping abdominal pain. Her family had a diarrheal illness for the past 5 days. Previous medical history: she is hypertensive, stage 1 kidney disease, bipolar disorder, and anxiety. Medications include hydrochlorothiazide, enalapril, lithium, clonazepam, etc. And on general examination, she is in no acute distress and oriented in person only. Pupils are equal, reactive to light. She was tachycardic but regular rhythm, no murmurs. The significant findings are a diffuse tenderness in the abdomen. Motor testing is 4/5 diffusely but symmetric. Ataxia is present. The patient underwent a full laboratory evaluation. Creatinine of 2.1, which is high, lithium level of 14 mg per dl. So she was admitted for lithium toxicity. These are some of the questions which we will answer later. So let's get into further details of lithium toxicity. This lady was suffering from bipolar disorder. So it's a psychiatric disorder in which depression alternates with mania. It's an affective disorder that manifests as elation, agitation, hyperactivity, uncontrolled thought, and speech. Lithium was the first drug used for treatment of mania. Other antileptic drugs are the carbamazepine, sodium valproate, gabapentin, etc. are also approved for treatment of bipolar disorder. How does lithium help in a patient with bipolar disorder? It reduces motor activity, decreases euphoria, releases insomnia, and stabilizes the mood. This is the mechanism of action. Lithium, by inhibiting the above steps, reduces the release of IP3 and DAG, which are second messengers for both alpha-adrenergic and muscarinic transmissions. It is a monovalent cation that can mimic the sodium ion. Lithium also decreases the release of Na and Da in the brain. So, renal system versus lithium. In a normal person, the kidney handles lithium in the same way as sodium. About 80% of the filtered lithium is reabsorbed in the proximal tubules. In a renal rearrangement, sodium depletion, as in diarrhea, reduces the rate of excretion of lithium and increases its toxicity. The most common causes include angiotensin converting enzyme inhibition, angiotensin receptor blockers, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Age and illness related can also decrease the kidney function. For maintenance therapy, 0.6 to 0.8 milliequivalent per liter is used. In acute mania, 1.0 to 1.2, and when it goes beyond 1.5 milliequivalents per liter, it leads to overdose and further toxicity. Lithium toxicity can be acute on chronic, or chronic. When a person ingests more than 25 gram, it's called acute ingestion toxicity. And when the blood lithium level is more than 2.5 millimole per liter, it is called chronic toxicity. In acute ingestion, gastrointestinal tract and the intravascular compartment is more affected. But in chronic toxicity, CNS symptoms are more prominent. The signs and symptoms. Acute overdose symptoms include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea as gastrointestinal symptoms. The cardiac symptoms are ECG changes, arrhythmias, prolonged QT interval, and bradycardia times. Neurological symptoms: late developing syndrome of irreversible lithium effectuated neurotoxicity. Chronic intoxication leads to neurological symptoms, mainly sluggishness, ataxia, confusion, agitation, and tremor, which are gradually developing. Cardiac symptoms are same as acute and acute on chronic. Renal symptoms include nephrogenic diabetes insipidus. Our case also had similar symptoms. So what are the physical examination findings? That was one of the questions. In mild toxicity, for the level of lithium is below 1.6, apathy, irritability, lethargy, muscle weakness, and a history of nausea. Moderate toxicity leads to blurred vision, confusion, drowsiness, progressive tremor, slurred speech, unsteady gait. Severe toxicity leads to cardiovascular collapse, coma, and seizures. There are so many differential diagnoses for lithium poisoning, like alcohol toxicity, dementia, heavy metal toxicity, mercury toxicity, stroke, ischemia. So how can we differentiate? Mild lithium toxicity is often difficult to diagnose because the symptoms are similar to the other conditions which I have already mentioned. An ECG to test for an abnormal heartbeat, a blood chemistry test to look at the metabolism and electrolyte levels, blood or urine test to determine serum lithium levels, and a blood test to check your kidney function is essential. This is a sinus node dysfunction in lithium toxicity, classical type 1 Brugada pattern. Sample taken is venous blood. After 12 hours of the last dose of lithium, the sample must be taken in a lithium-free tube, otherwise falsely elevated levels will be shown in tubes with speckled green tops that contain lithium heparin as an anticoagulant. Urine analysis, electrolyte levels and renal function should also be sent. A low anion gap or a low urine specific gravity may suggest lithium toxicity due to sodium loss. A thyroid function panel may also be considered in patients presenting with symptoms suggestive of hypothyroidism. Calcium levels have to be checked regularly as lithium may cause hypoparathyroidism also. Kidney test, creatinine levels are very important. It should be monitored at the beginning of treatment, regularly during treatment, and if any symptoms of kidney disease becomes evident. Thyroid levels should be tested at least every 6 months as I already mentioned. So how will we manage? Hemodialysis, peritoneal dialysis are some of the methods of removal of lithium. Is hemodialysis indicated? Let's check it out. Acute ingestion with severe CNS toxicity, that is level 6 to 8 milliequivalent per liter, no doubt it's indicated. In chronic ingestion also hemodialysis is indicated. When the lithium level is more than 2.5 milliequivalent per liter, if there are following symptoms, hemodialysis can be done. That is severe neurological symptoms, renal insufficiency, hemodynamic instability, conditions that increase renal sodium reabsorption like cardiac failure or cirrhosis, chronic ingestion and moderate to severe symptoms. If in any lithium level there are severe symptoms or large ingestion where rising levels are anticipated or level is not felt to be below 1 milliequivalent per liter in 30 hours, hemodialysis should be done. To avoid such situations in patients with hepatic impairment, safety and efficacy of lithium is not yet established. In renal impairment in adults, if creatinine clearance is less than 10 milliliter per minute, decrease the usual dose by 50 to 75%, and if creatinine clearance is 10 to 50 milliliter per minute, decrease usual dose by 25 to 50%. In children also, the adjustment of doses is as shown. So that's the end of my case analysis. Thank you so much for your patient listening.